It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Well, we've had a lot of disasters in this month of January. The one that everyone keeps talking about, and rightfully so, obviously the fires here in Southern California affected a ton of people. But I think also the one that's really fresh and affected a lot of us here is the plane crash in Washington, D.C., and we'd like to get as much information as possible. And Peter Greenberg is with us. He's a travel detective. PeterGreenberg.com. He's flown into DCA many, many times, been to Ronald Reagan Airport, and he's here to discuss it with us. Peter, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, sir, and nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you. This is, for people that don't live back there, I imagine we talked earlier, when this accident happened, it's a smaller airport. It's really sort of convenient for people who work in D.C. A lot of the politicians like it because, they don't like to spend a lot of travel time. If you're a senator or a congressman from California, you've got to, it's a full day of travel, and they can cut a couple of hours or at least an hour or two out of that by using this Ronald Reagan Airport. Well,
they can. They've been doing it for years. Yeah. It's probably the most restricted airspace in the world, simply because it goes back to 9/11, and, of course, because of its proximity to both the Capitol and the White House. It's a very convenient airport, as you said. I use it all the time. But having said that, we have to deal with what we know here in terms of this investigation. Remember, in any crash investigation, the NTSB has to painstakingly rule every single thing out before they can rule any one thing in. And that's what they're in the process of doing right now. But there are certain things that we already do know. We do know that the American Eagle plane was perfectly lined up for a landing. He was where he was supposed to be. The pilots were doing everything that they were supposed to do. We also know that they were operating within something called the TCA. Let me explain. It's called the Terminal Control Area. Every major airport in this country has one. LAX has one. Burbank has one. And what it is that you cannot enter that restricted airspace unless you're given permission. You're positively identified on the controller screens with the ID of the airplane, your speed, your altitude, and your direction. And there's a Southern California connection to this. Let's go back to 1978. That was a terrible crash that happened on PSA Flight 182 going between Los Angeles and San Diego. And on that flight, it was daylight, not nighttime. As he was on his final approach to Lindbergh Field in San Diego, the controller called out to him, much like the controller did here in Washington, hey, be aware of traffic. And the PSA pilot said he identified the traffic. But the traffic itself did not identify the PSA plane, slammed into the back of a plane by the wing, and everybody died. As a result, yeah, go ahead.
That airport in San Diego always scares the hell out of me because there's a 4-story or 5-story office building that's just at the end of that runway.
Well, it's interesting. The way you do it's one of the steepest approaches in America at any airport. Yeah. If you're sitting on the left side of a plane coming into San Diego, you can see what people are having for breakfast.
That's true.
But what happened here was when they realized that there's a lot of uncontrolled aircraft very close to the runway at Lindbergh, that's when they started the TCA. It was because of that crash over 40 years ago. So now you've got these airspace restrictions, and of course, national, or I call it national, but Reagan has the worst in terms of the most restrictive. So now the question becomes, the American Eagle plane is lined up to land. There's a helicopter there who's also a part of that TCA. He was allowed in. He was also in communication with the tower. And the tower said to him, hey, there's traffic. Do you see it? And he replied in the affirmative that he not only saw it, but he was maintaining separation. And then moments later, he smashes into him. So very confusing, and it leads the investigators to believe that at that hour of the evening, with so many other visual distractions, the helicopter pilot did recognize traffic, but it wasn't that plane.
There's a story coming out of Washington, Peter, maybe you've heard this, that one of the air traffic controllers, there's one to watch the airplanes and there's one to watch helicopter and all the other traffic, but one of them was either went home earlier, was dismissed, and left, and they were down to one air traffic controller. Is that true?
That is true, and what's even more disturbing, it's been going on for 40 years.
Wow.
Let's go back to when Ronald Reagan, back in 1981, fired all the air traffic controllers. They were then replaced by military air traffic controllers who did a very good job, but the FAA did a terrible job in understanding that a few years later, some of these guys are going to start retiring.
Right.
They're going to start trading out. They never proactively planned to fill that employment gap, and they've never caught up since. As you and I are speaking on the phone tonight, there are 3 air traffic control centers in America that are operating at less than 85% staffing. And because of that threshold, these air traffic controllers in those centers are being forced to work mandatory overtime. The one job in the world you do not want to work overtime. So that's the first thing. The second issue that you brought up about being reduced to one controller, we've already seen what happens when that happens. We go back to a Comair crash in Lexington, Kentucky, where they should have had 2 controllers. They had one. His attention turned away from him as the pilot turned onto the wrong runway, took off, and killed everybody but one person on that plane.
Oh, man.
So this is not a new phenomenon here, and the problem is with the FAA itself. Well, they've never got up to staffing levels that they needed.
Yeah. Again, Peter Greenberg's with us. I fly in and out of Burbank all the time, and I love the convenience, but I give my seatbelt an extra tighten and an extra tug when we land because it scares the hell out of me.
And it scares the hell out of me, too. I know Runway 7 very well. You may remember a couple of years ago, the Southwest Airlines plane that ended up in the gas station.
Yeah, well, how smart were the people in Burbank to license a gas station at the end of that runway, which, by the way, is not there anymore.
Exactly. But when you come into Runway 7, anybody who knows that runway, it's basically perpendicular to Hollywood Way. When they come into Runway 7, the pilots are almost braking before they land.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, convenient airport. I love it. But you know what? It's not well designed. And the outer marker, for those who are listening to the show who are pilots, the outer marker for that runway, you know where it is? It's located literally on the runway of the Van Nuys Airport.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's right.
So,
but when the planes land there in the summertime, when it's warm and the runway's hot, quite often, more often than not, the plane will land, it'll sit at the end of the runway, and I've asked the pilots why they do that, and they're waiting for the brakes to cool down so they can pull it into the gate.
Those brakes can be molten red.
Yeah.
That's right. They're absolutely right. That's what happens when you have heat, and in some cases altitude, but in this case just heat.
But yet we still do it, and we still take our chances. It's odd.
Well, you know what? It is odd, but let's get down to some good news.
Okay.
And the good news is that last year, 4.4 billion people flew around the planet, and the number of total fatalities is under 800. Now, that number is never acceptable.
Sure.
But put it in the context of the number of people who flew, those are overwhelmingly favorable odds for you, me, and everybody else.
Right. Peter, can you stay with us?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Peter Greenberg's with us. I got a bunch of questions, what happened, and about travel safety. So he's going to stay with us. He's a travel detective. PeterGreenberg.com. Peter Greenberg with an E. Greenberg. Greenberg.com. PeterGreenberg.com. We'll continue with him live here on KFI AM 640.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Peter Greenberg is with us, travel detective, PeterGreenberg.com. Peter, let me read you some headlines, and then I got a question for you here. This is just all in the last year or so. A near miss between 2 planes at LAX caught on video. Airline close calls happen far more often than we know. LAX runway closes. FAA investigates a near collision. Close call at LAX. Then we go to Burbank. Close call at Burbank Airport, Southwest flight. Crew halts landing at Hollywood Burbank Airport to avoid a crash. Close call between 2 planes on a runway at Burbank. And FAA investigates close call at Burbank Airport. Those are not the same incidents. Those are all different. And it seems like, I know we're scaring the hell out of people, but it does seem like these are happening more often.
Well, they are happening more often for 2 reasons. One, they're being reported more often. But the more important reason is because airlines have been allowed to schedule without any relationship to common sense. Let me give you an example. There's not a runway in the world, whether you're in Burbank or Bermuda, that can accommodate more than 23 takeoffs in any given hour, given 2.5 minutes of separation between takeoffs. Okay, so why are the airlines allowed to schedule 40 departures at 8 o'clock in the morning? The reason is because they're scheduling to be competitive, but they're not scheduling realistically. And if they're scheduling that many takeoffs, those planes also have to land. So what happens? You have congestion on the tarmac. You have congestion because planes need to cross runways to get to the gates, and sometimes they can't because there are too many planes waiting to take off or too many planes coming in to land. And that's where you have some close calls because you're running out of real estate.
Right.
So we need the airports to kick in and deal with real capacity issues by saying to all the airlines, listen, we understand deregulation. We're not going to tell you where you can fly. We're not going to tell you the price to charge. We're not going to tell you what kind of plane to operate. We're just going to tell you that your takeoff slot tomorrow for wherever you want to fly is at 9:07, 10:13, 11:29, et cetera. And if you miss the slot, you get penalized. And then that could be for United. And American be at 9:40,
right.
And Delta could be at 9:52. You'd be surprised how fast those planes would be rescheduled in a more realistic way. But right now, it's the wild, wild west when it comes to scheduling, and there's no sheriff.
It's not just the close calls. It's the tires falling off the planes, the doors falling off the planes. It just seems like flying back in the 80s and 90s. Maybe we didn't hear about all this stuff, or maybe it didn't exist, but it does seem like attention to detail isn't there anymore.
Well, it gets back to the FAA again. I'll give you why. The tire falling off the plane was not a manufacturing defect. That was a maintenance defect.
Right.
But the door blowing out of the plane, that was a manufacturing defect. And it all gets back to two things. Where is the FAA in doing proper inspections of manufacturing production lines? And more importantly, who's inspecting the maintenance that's being done, much of it being outsourced? Where are those inspectors? I haven't found them yet.
Wow.
And so, airlines have been outsourcing more and more maintenance to outside organizations in foreign countries. Now, that doesn't mean they do a bad job, but there's nobody watching the store.
Right.
And this is a problem. The FAA has been consistently and historically understaffed. And the worst problem of all is that when the FAA was established way back in 1935, that's 90 years ago, by an act of Congress, they were given a dual and impossible mandate. The first mandate, which we could all embrace and support, is to enact and enforce safety. We all get that. But here's the second mandate that becomes the conflict of interest. They were mandated to do what? Promote the business of aviation. You cannot do both. And as a result, every time there's a safety issue, the FAA thinks that the airlines and the manufacturers are their clients. They're not the clients. Yeah. We're the clients.
Right.
And until they fix that definition, these problems are going to continue.
All right. Peter Greenberg's with us, petergreenberg.com. This accident in Washington, I'm sure you've read this because you're in the know more than most people. It would not have brought light. The only way that we know about this lawsuit now, the Federal Aviation Administration is fighting a class action lawsuit alleging that it denied 1,000 would-be air traffic controllers jobs because of diversity hiring targets. Is that true?
I am not aware of that. And listen, if you're going to get denied a job with the FAA, it's based on your competency. The washout rate for candidates for air traffic controllers is very high. It's a high-stress, high-intensity job. And right now, if you want to get that job, you're going to have to do a learning curve of at least 2 years before they'll ever let you sit at a console by yourself.
Right.
So this has nothing to do with diversity. This has to do with competence, no matter what your skin color or your sex.
And when they start you as an FAA, as a either ground traffic controller, air controller, do they put you in smaller, less congested airports for a little while until you get your feet wet?
Not really. What they do is, because the principles are all the same, what they do is they put you as the apprentice next to a veteran air traffic controller, and you're basically sitting at his or her side learning every single day.
I see. What is going to change? I know that 24 hours before that accident where the American Airlines left Wichita, Kansas and crashed 15 seconds before it landed, at Reagan Airport. 24 hours before that happened, a similar incident happened, and I can't believe how closely those two events were to one another.
Well, you'll be happy to know that about an hour ago, the FAA has now changed the rules. They are now banning all helicopter operations anywhere near Reagan.
Good. All right, that's great. I mean, it's going to complicate, the Navy and the Air Force around there, but maybe we'll all get to where we need to go. Peter, really appreciate you coming on. We'd love to have you back as the details come out and we move on here. But really appreciate you taking the time with us.
Hey, happy to do it, man.
All right, Peter Greenberg, thank you. PeterGreenberg.com. Go check him out. Travel detective Peter Greenberg at PeterGreenberg.com. Hey, we're gonna have Alex Michelson on. Did he pass out? Did he fall asleep?
Maybe you forgot the number.
Oh, is that right? That's possible. Don't forget, Jay Leno is doing a concert tonight at 8 p.m. at Flappers in Burbank. It's free if you're a first responder. So bring your information in. I don't know, your badge or your certificate of authenticity, whatever you got, to show people at the Flappers. It's in Burbank, 8 p.m. tonight, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. Free shows for first responders. That's cool. And if you miss Jay tonight or tomorrow, you can always catch him Sundays at the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach. I went down to see that show a couple years ago with Bellio and everybody. That was a cool show. That was a funny show. I enjoyed that.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
I was listening to Petros and Money the day before yesterday, and my name popped up on their show. They're on 570 AM, best show in radio. If I was starting a station, I'd hire those two lads and then work the rest of the lineup around those two. Very smart, funny dudes. And they mentioned me because I came in early for a party for Dave Weiss. Worked his ass off on that charity event. And came in early. Saw some people I don't normally see, which is cool. And talked to Tim Cates, who produces the Petros and Money Show. We're into this prize picks. And we always try to beat prize picks. And I hit a 6-player parlay the night before. I was very excited. Because I'm playing prize picks. I'm playing ice time. Is the player going to be on the ice for more than 19 and a half minutes? And this is the middle of the season where every player plays hurt. And if they play back-to-back games, they like to limit their minutes. So I go, I bet under the projection a lot of the time. And I turned $12 into $180. And so this Petros and Money talking about me and Cates playing prize picks.
Conway was there today, by the way. He showed up.
Yeah, ding dong. I'm going to come in early, get some free food. Yeah, ding dong.
What's that you said about Anthony Davis's uterus? You come on today? All right, we're going to keep you for another one.
I didn't know he was there at first until I looked over in the corner and he was holding court with all the bosses, making them all laugh. I'm like,
hey, that's right. Here we go. Yeah.
Hey,
live right up the street.
Little political shift around here. Ding dong.
One time in Santa Anita, I got a horse. He died, huh?
Yeah, ding dong. I haven't hit a bet in my life. Ding dong.
He hit last night, by the way. I got a screenshot from Tim Conway Jr. He hit on a 6-player prize picks.
Yeah, well, listen to you and Tim Conway.
Look at that. 6-player prize picks. Cash that thing in.
It sounds like a conversation between two guys in a soup kitchen. I'm going to get us out of here. That's when you and Conway talk about prize picks. That's how you sound. Oh, things are going to change.
I did say, Conway, I'm down to my last $10.
And then he said, hey, Babu, follow my lead. I'll get you out of here. Follow me to freedom.
That's great, man. Two guys in a soup kitchen looking to get the hell out.
It sounds like a conversation between two guys in a soup kitchen. I'm going to get us out of here. That's when you and Conway talk about prize picks. That's how you sound. Oh, things are going to change.
Things are going to change.
I did say, Conway, I'm down to my last $10.
That's true. Cates has worked.
And then he said, hey, Babu, follow my lead. I'll get you out of here. Follow me to freedom.
With all the goodwill that Santa Anita has done, Santa Anita put together a mountain of free clothes and food and toiletries and diapers and I don't know, whatever they had out there. Specialists, I don't know, blankets, whatever. They had like a mountain. It was like 9 football fields of stuff you can go out and get for free. Tons of water was donated. There was a mountain of water that was donated. I think they said it was like 300,000 bottles of water was donated. So Santa Anita, bless their hearts, they open up the parking lot. Not that they're using it. And they invite anybody who needed help to come to Santa Anita and just pick whatever you need. And man, it helped a lot of people. And I thought, probably stupidly, I thought to myself, okay, Santa Anita is going to buy some goodwill here. So next time a horse does a cartwheel and flies into the stands, maybe they won't mention the news. Maybe they'll give him a bye. Maybe they'll give him a pass on a horse that, went a little crazy. No. First time a horse gets a hangnail, right here. All the news stations cover it. And a horse, cartwheels into the stands, knocks a guy's hot dog and beer out of his hands, right here, everywhere. Top news again. Top news. Top of the news again. I can't beat him, man. I can't beat him. But I do like going out there. They were running today. I didn't hit anything today. That's kind of normal. But I'll be out there tomorrow. They have the greatest chili in the world. If you're a fan of chili, the track chili is the best I've ever had. The absolute best.
It is good.
I don't know what's in it. I don't know if the 4 horse from the 3rd race is stuck into that thing. I don't know. But, man, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's got some flavor.
It does.
I just know because my grandma took me there one time. So.
Oh, is that right, Santa Anita?
That was our lunch one time, yeah.
It's great. And it's great to go down. My dad used to call it the mustard section, which is right down on the rail. And even if you don't eat anything, you don't drink anything, you still go home with mustard on you somehow. You know, guy flies into you, guy bumps into you, you got crap all over you. I remember real quickly, I was at Santa Anita with my dad, and in the clubhouse, there's a bathroom where you have to walk down like 30 stairs in this basement. And I walked down before the 7th race, and I turned the corner, and there's a guy on his knees in the stall, and he's throwing up in the stall at Santa Anita, and he bangs one out of his rear end as well. So he's throwing up and messing his pants, right? And he's yelling to his friend. He said, "Hey, go bet this horse," as he's throwing up and essing himself. Throwing up, mess all over the place, yelling at his buddy, "Go make the bet! Go make the bet!" So I go back and I tell that story to my dad. I said, "Yeah, I went down 30 stairs. Guy's throwing up. He essed his pants. It's a mess everywhere." And he yelled at his buddy. He says, "Hey, go make the bet. Go make the bet." And my dad's response? Who did he like? Isn't that amazing? That guy has run out of luck. You're born with a certain amount of luck in life.
Yeah.
And that guy's is over. It's over. And yet my dad still hung on to maybe he knew something about this next race. Who did he like? It's the best. I do miss that man out there at the racetrack. We used to go out to the racetrack, my dad and I. We'd drive out together. We'd bet 9 races. I'd drive home, drop him off, and then go home. I may have spent 9 hours with him. And I don't think we said 2 words to each other. All we did is talk about the races.
Man, you and my grandma would have loved each other because she cursed up a storm if she missed it. She'd always put the trifecta, and she'd show me the ticket, and if it was like 5, 7, 9, she just got one number wrong every time.
Oh yeah, she came up short.
So pissed. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's that place is littered with chaps like that and lasses like that. Yep, they're out there. They're out there.
So the guy in the bathroom stall, what do you call that? An exacta? Is that the term?
Yeah, and if he missed the bet, it's the trifecta.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
You're the gambling expert.
That's the worst exact out there. Guy's falling apart in the stall, and people just step over him to go. Bobby. Everybody knows who he is too. Bobby, what's going on with you?
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Let's do something light around here. Everything's been so heavy. Rahner, I don't know if you know this part of our show. We haven't done it in a while, but we go back and we take, I go to IMDb and I break out somebody's history, their resume, and we start reading from the very first projects until modern day, and you got to shout out the actor's name when you know who it is.
All right, bring it.
All right, I think you're going to be good at this. And Steph Oosh, you're always welcome to play. Angel Martinez, Matt, anybody? All right, I'll give you this one first. This is an actor who started his career back in the late 50s, early 60s. Here we go. Flight, The Lawless Years, Pony Express, Riverboat.
Oh, Darren McGavin.
No. Angel Baby. Naked City. He was in some Twilight Zones. 50 episodes of Twilight Zone.
He was in 50 episodes?
I think he had something to do with 50 episodes, I should say. 12 O'Clock High. Gentle Ben. The FBI. Shark. He was in A Love American Style. Seamus.
Oh, Burt Reynolds.
Yes. One for Rahner.
Yeah, the Twilight Zone thing threw me.
Yeah, I don't know what he did with Twilight Zone. Maybe he was a voiceover guy. I don't know what he did. Okay, here's another one. Here we go. Angel, you're good at these. Here we go. This career started in 2013. So one for the kids. Here we go. Gangster Squad. Only God Forgives. The Big Short.
Oh, Ryan Gosling.
That's right. That's amazing how quickly you know these things.
Rahner's going to dominate.
Well, yeah, what do I win?
I was going to say,
right.
this is just a game for Mark.
No, there has to be a prize here, right?
There is. You get a Mo Kelly coffee mug.
You bring in that sandwich you took yesterday.
That was a great sandwich, man. I don't know where that thing came from.
Damn you.
Petros gave me a hell of a sandwich. I even texted him. This is how out of it Petros was. So I got to plug my headphone back in. So I texted, Petros gave me an unbelievable sandwich last night. And I don't know where he got it. It just appeared. He goes, hey, do you want a sandwich? I'm usually turn that down because it's been sitting out for 7 hours. And, all of a sudden I'm the guy at Santa Anita. But he gave me this sandwich and I took a picture of it. I said, holy S, best sandwich ever. I sent him a picture of it. I said, what's the restaurant? And he wrote back, where? I'm like, well, where did you get this sandwich? Where did it come from? And he said, I stole it from the 5th floor. It's been sitting out for some time. That was it. That was a wrap. That was it. So, never knew where that sandwich.
Repercussions from the sandwich?
No, it was great. No. It was great.
Okay.
It hit nice. It hit real nice. Okay, here's another one. This career started back in... Okay, I'm not going to tell you when this career started, but these are some of his. Well, actually, not. Let's do a different one here. All right, this career started a long time ago. God almighty, this is a long list of projects this guy did. This started back in 1988. Ready? Mystic Pizza, The Good Mother, Field of Dreams, Rising Sun. The Good Old Boys, Courage Under Fire, Chasing Amy, The Rainmaker.
Oh, Matt Damon.
The next one, Good Will Hunting. Man, that's amazing how you know those, dude. You've got to do film reviews for a living. You got to stop this radio crap and have your own big, huge podcast and show.
Well, I enjoy living indoors, though. A little speed bump here.
Buddy, that's amazing how you know these. It really is unbelievable.
I held back on the last one because there's a couple of confusing ones in there. But the recent ones are easy. Come up with a hard one. You can do this.
All right, let me start with one. Okay, here's one. This one might be a little more difficult for you. And I only say a little more because of what you've demonstrated so far. All right, this one goes back to 1976. The David Steinberg Show.
Okay.
For the Record. Lost and Found, The Love Boat, Flappers, SCTV, Taxi, Three Amigos.
Oh, is it?
Three Fugitives. Here's one for you. The Martin Short Show,
Martin Short.
Hey, Angel! You nailed it. Angel, that's great.
Yay.
How did you know? When I said Martin Short Show, did you put that together? And you nailed it.
Well, it was the hint before that.
Oh, it was. Oh, Three Amigos?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, you're good.
Cryptic.
When you get some sleep, Angel, you're as sharp as they come.
You know it.
You know it. God almighty. Yes, you know it. All right, don't forget, Jay Leno is going to be at Flappers at 8 p.m. tonight. That's 2 hours and 4 minutes from now. So you get him free if you're a first responder. Hopefully they have room for everybody. That show sells out. 8 p.m. tonight, Jay Leno at Flappers. Tomorrow, 7:30 p.m., Flappers in Burbank off Magnolia. I'm sure Jay is already there, warming up. And then if you miss him there, he's going to be at the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach on Sunday. And then we got a big thing going on tomorrow. Tuwala is going to be there. Our good buddy Tuwala from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The LA Mission is putting on a huge fair for people who have been burned out due to the Eaton fire. It's going to be at 855 North Orange Grove. 855 North Orange Grove. Meals, legal services, toiletries. I don't know what else they got out there. Hygiene equipment. I don't know. But they're going to have a lot of people out there. Tuwala will be there, so track Tuwala down. He said if he's in the mood, he'll be signing autographs, which will be cool. That'll be worth something someday. LA Mission tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., 855 North Orange Grove in Pasadena. Pasadena. I should have mentioned that before. It's Pasadena. Okay. All right. Ding dong. When we come back, if you have any questions about real estate, do you have to keep paying your mortgage? Do you have to keep paying your insurance? What's going on with the insurance? Are you paying rent? Do you have to keep paying rent? We got a guy who knows a lot about real estate coming up to answer all of your questions. It's Conway Show live right here on KFI AM 640. Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.